Hello, welcome to Pilates Mat Work. This class is going to be geared more toward the beginner Pilates student. So we're going to start off with some strength building pre-Pilates movements with the band. And then we're going to work up some more beginner level exercises on the floor that will help you gain what you need to gain to go into a faster pace, a more mixed level class, something like that. And then you have that good foundation there. Okay. So for this class, you will need a band. I'm going to recommend that there's different bands out there, different colors mean different things. And sometimes that color varies from brand to brand. This is a Gaiam brand, and this is their light stretchy band here. So I'm not doing medium, I'm not doing heavy. If you're a beginner, you want to start very light and then work up from there. Those of you that are more advanced are joining me today. This is a great way to reconnect with your principles and maybe even get on a little bit of a deeper level than maybe you haven't done in a while. So let's get started. So I'm just going to start with this band just around my neck here. And I want to come to a nice standing position. So my hips, where your hip bones are, not about how wide you think you are, but where your hip bones are, knees, feet, toes, are all in that nice alignment here. Okay. So I'm trying to press evenly into both feet. And I'm zipping up from the pubic bone behind the navel. So my belly button is in. And I want to feel all four corners of my feet. What I mean by that is I'm pressing into the big toe mound, the pinky toe mound, and both sides of the heel. Okay. So I'm trying not to let things kind of collapse in. I'm trying not to roll out. I want to be nice and in balance. Now look down at your feet. Are your your toes even to each other, or do you have one foot a little bit more forward than the other? And if you do, could you bring that back? Good. And we're just going to kind of work on that posture. So for me personally, I have a slight rotation in the shoulder, a slight rotation in the hip, from carrying heavy bags when my kids were little, everything but the kitchen sink in there. So I've kind of created that over time. So I know when that's kind of out of sync, when I march just like this and then put my feet down, if my left or right foot is a little bit more forward of my left, then I know I'm a little bit out of balance. And it is slightly forward here. So I'm just going to march again. So this is a nice little tool to see if you're, got any imbalances of your own. Good. Good. And then just stop. Good. That's a little bit better, but still slightly forward. Let's go again. It also helps when you're aware of your imbalance, it's easier to correct it. Good. And let's stop. Good. Now I'm kind of back in balance there. So just a nice little tool. And then I'm just going to move forward and back here a little bit. And then maybe even side to side. I just want to kind of get used to where my center of balance and gravity is. And you can even kind of make this fun. Just kind of maybe take some little circles here. And if you want to, you can really get into it with the circles. And if you need to take your feet a little bit wider for a little bit more stability, then just take it into those circles. This wasn't part of my plan. It just kind of went with it, and it actually feels pretty good. So you just kind of move here the way that your body needs you to move. Remember, just like anything else, pain, numbness, tingling, burning, any of those sensations, and we want to back off what we're doing. Good. And then from here, let's go into some nice stretches. So I'm going to take this band and I'm going to thread that band between my pointer and my thumb. I'm just going to take it up overhead. And I'm going to bring my foot back in here. I'm just going to get a nice side bend. Keep this one pretty gentle. With going over to the left. My belly button is in here to support me. And then I'm going to come back up and I'm going to take that again to the right. Good. Let's do that again. Coming over to the left. And over to the right. Notice how I'm not shifting my hip side to side here. Let's add on. So from here, as I take it to the left, maybe I can give a little bit of a tug. You are in a stretchy band, but you're always in control of where and how you need to grip for your own needs. Good. And then we'll come back up and going into the other side. gentle tug. Let's take that again, coming back up, taking that over. Good, gentle tug. I'm just gonna hold this here for a moment. Good. So I'm letting this top shoulder get a nice stretch. I'm stretching down the side body of my right side. I want to try to expand that rib cage as I inhale. And notice if you have this habit pattern of kind of collapsing forward here, could you open that back up using your abs? If you could, come back to center, taking that to the other side, taking it over. Good. Now you can get that gentle tug. Again, watch for that front shoulder collapse. Correct if needed. Breathing and expanding, just feeling the stretch. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back up. Good. Now I'm going to turn to the side here on this one. So remember, you are in a stretchy band. You can always adjust your grip, but we're going to start to move forward and back here, loosening up. When you come back, you want a nice long arm, okay? So you don't want to do this bendy stuff to try to get back there. So widen the grip if that happens to you. But from here we are. I'm standing nice and tall. Good. I've got my palms facing behind. I'm going to come up. Maybe we go back a little bit. Try not to pop the chest forward. A little softness in the knees and coming back down. And we'll take that again. Maybe a little bit farther back and bringing that back forward. And again, taking it back. Maybe even a little bit more and coming back forward. And again, maybe you need to stop somewhere. Maybe you can come all the way back here. This took a while for me to be able to do that, but just find your range of motion and go with it. You might find that you can come back a little bit more each time. You might not. It does take practice. And if you've had a shoulder replacement or something like that, this full range of motion might not be entirely possible, but just do what you can. Good. Now I'm going to come back. I'm going to stop at my maximum stretch, which is about right here. And I'm breathing. And then I'm going to take that up and come down. I'm going to place this band back around my neck right now. We're going to do just a little bit of footwork while we're up here. So I'm going to keep my feet about hip width apart. They can be slightly wider. Good. My belly button is in. Hands can be anywhere you need them. I'm going to rest mine on my waist. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to press into my big toe and pinky toe mounds. I'm just going to lift my heels and lower. You might not be able to lift as high as me, and that's okay. Just work with it. It's also okay to do this holding onto a wall or a sturdy piece of furniture. Good. And you want to make notice if when you do this, if you've got ankles that try to, do funny things, press hard into the big toe and pinky toe mounds. And over time, that will become less and less as you strengthen there. Good. Now strengthening the hips will also help with that as well. Good. Let's take one more. Good. Now we're going to do that again. We're going to turn hips, knees, and toes out to the side. Good. And again, hold on to a wall, hold on to a steady piece of furniture if you need it. Belly button is in. We're going to lift and lower and lift and lower. Notice how this targets a little bit of a different area, maybe a little bit differently around the knee, a little bit differently around the glutes. I feel it kind of in my gluteal folds back here when I do it this way. And again. Good. Now from here, come out even wider. We're going to take this into some gentle squats. So I'm just going to bend a little bit and come back up. As you bend, it doesn't matter really how deep you go, as long as you don't take your hip, below your knees. Hips, knees, and toes are always tracking in that direction. And I'm pressing through the heels and the glutes when I come back up. Make your legs work for you, not against you. Okay. Let's take a couple more. And one more time. Good. And coming back up. Let's take this into a little bit of knee bends here. So for the knee bends, I'll show you this from a side view. My feet are about hip width apart. They can be a little bit wider. I'm just going to take my arms up. Good. And I'm just going to kind of bend almost like you're coming into a chair and pressing up. And coming into a bend, I want my back long, my belly button in. And come into the bend and press, and bend, and press. Let's do that a couple more times if we can. Bend, and press, and bend, and press. Great job. From here, just roll those shoulders around. Good. Well, we're going to go into some scapular mobility movement. So we're going to go through all the movement of the shoulder, or scapula. Good. So from here, this is all important work. This is all foundational work for higher level stuff and to help you when you come into a mixed level class. So from here, elevation. So we're going to lift the shoulders and lower the shoulders. Elevation, depression is the lowering. Elevation, depression. Elevation, depression. Elevation, depression. Elevation, depression. Good. From here, I'll show you this from the side. My arms are going to come forward. So my shoulders are relatively in their pockets here. Good. Go. Protraction, reaching forward out of the pocket if you want to think about it that way. Retraction. Protraction, separating the shoulder blades. Retraction, squeezing them together. Protraction. Retraction. Protraction. Retraction. Protraction. Retraction. Protraction, retraction. Good. And just roll that out. Let's go into a really gentle rotation here with both hips and or waist and legs. So I'm just going to rock side to side. Let the hips move with you. Let the knees bend as they need to as you rotate. Let the arms just do what they do. If you need to close your eyes, that's fine. And then from here, when you're ready, let's take that rotation into the hip. So from here, I'm going to balance a little bit on this left leg as I take my right leg forward. Good. So I'm going to go lateral or external from the hip. So notice how my knee is also turning out. Good. Lateral, parallel. Lateral, parallel. External, parallel. External, parallel. External, parallel. Let's make this a little harder. Parallel, internal, parallel, internal. Notice how I'm doing it all from the hip. Parallel, internal, parallel, internal. Yep, this is a balance challenge too. Internal and parallel. Take this down, take out this leg. Let's take that to the other side now. And just move this out of the way. Good. And you can always, again, hold onto a wall or a sturdy piece of furniture if you need to. That's not a big deal. Good. So taking it forward. So here's parallel, external. Parallel, external, also known as parallel and lateral. Parallel and lateral. Parallel and lateral. Parallel and lateral. Changing it up. Parallel, internal. Parallel, internal. Also known as medial. Parallel and medial, parallel and medial, parallel and medial, parallel and medial. Good. Just march that out. We're going to grab our fan now, coming into some more shoulder and upper body strengthening work. Good. And we'll come back down. Okay. So you want your feet to be about hip width apart or slightly wider. You want that nice base of support down here. This is called a lateral press. So we're going to hold right between the pointer and thumb. Hands are going to come around. Don't come out to your widest first. We're going to go that way. So you want to kind of come in just a little bit here. Also, you want to make sure that you are about right in the middle of the chest or right below the shoulders. You don't want to be up here in the neck. Okay. So I'm going to reach my arms forward. Belly button is in. And I'm just going to pull out a little bit. And I'm going to control and resist as I come back home. Have a little micro bend in the knees here. Good. And we'll open and close. Open and close. Open and close. Open and close. We're going to take that into a chest press. So I'm going to show that one from this angle. So you're holding on here. You're maybe a little bit wider than body width apart. You don't have any slack. So you've got, a little bit of strength here. When you're ready, belly button is in and knees are slightly bent. You're going to push. You're keeping that tautness here. And then you're going to keep it when you come back in. and push. Good. Control it in both directions. Push and bring it back. And push and bring it back. Think about your abs are doing the pushing forward and bringing it back in. When you think about your abs working, they magically start to fire up. And in Pilates, we try to initiate all of our movements from the core. The core being front side and back side of the body from the armpits to the hips. Good. And we'll bring that down. All right, let's take this into some standing work with the band. We're still gonna do upper body. We're just gonna stand on the band here. Good. For this, you wanna try to make sure that your band is flat here when you're standing on it. Good. And I'm gonna recommend that you don't take your feet too incredibly wide here. Try to have equal part band off each side. Good. So from here, I'm going to just you can kind of grip how you need to. You can kind of choke up. You can wrap. Different people like different things. I'm wrapping one time, but my palms are facing behind me and I'm pulling. This is a side raise. So rolling the shoulders back. Good. And I'm just going to come out a little bit. And now, if you tend to be stronger, you can take this up about shoulder height. So if you're like me, you're not quite there with the band, that's okay. You do what you can. Good. And these don't have to be, extreme. As long as you're feeling the work, then you are good. Yeah, let's do one more. Good. Now, let's take this into a forward raise. So we're going to come forward. I'm just going to kind of release just a moment here. This is a little bit harder. Good. And come forward. Good. So these movements here that we've been doing work the front and the back of the shoulder. Good. And let's do one more. Careful not to come past the shoulders here. Good. And we're going to bicep curl. So again, I'm going to kind of grab where I am. I'm going to turn my palms and everything forward. Good. My elbows are going to be in and I'm going to curl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Take a break or go with me a couple more. 7 and 8. Good. Now, from here, I'm going to come to a little bit of a squat. I'm going to take my arms out to the side. Again, you can choke up, you can wrap, find your challenge where you need it, but my elbows are going to be bent, and I'm going to use this to row. So I'm going to row up to the side. Belly button is in, and row, and row, and row, and row, and row, and row. Good. Now, I'm just going to readjust where I am so you can see better what I'm going to do with triceps here. You can stay right where you are. Good. So for the triceps, I'm going to come into a little squat again. Good. My elbows are going to be bent. They're into the body. And from that elbow, I'm going to press. 1, really fire it up to the back of the arms. 2, 3, belly button is in. Don't let it go. 4, bottom's warming up here too. 5, 6, take a break or go 7, and 8. Great job. Coming back up, we're going to release that band. We'll come back to that in a moment when we come down to the floor. But from here, let's work on coming down to the floor. Good. So this is going to be a little bit differently if you're watching this and you've got more experience and you're trying to go a little bit deeper. This might be a little bit boring to you. You can certainly go to the more advanced roll downs here, but I'm going to demo this for beginners. So we're going to zip up. Good. From here, I'm just going to nod the chin. Good. And then I'm just going to start to roll. I'm going to let the knees come down. And you just stop where you can stop, and it may or may not be the floor. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, good. Feet are on the floor, pressing down from hip to heel. I'm going to come back up by walking my hands up. And as I come up, I'm lengthening that leg and coming back to a nice, tall, standing position. We'll do that again. Nodding the chin. Good. As I start to roll down, I'm C-curved. I'm scooping in that belly button. I'm going to let those knees bend. You can bend them as deep as you need to as you come down. And then from here, to get back up, pressing into the feet. Good. Just walk the hands back up the body. Coming all the way back up. Good. So when you envision pressing hip to heel in here, when you're coming back up, you're taking the load out of the back, you're putting it in the legs, and you're strengthening that lower body. There's lots of parts going on. Good. Now, once you feel a little bit looser there, then you can take that up a notch. So we're going to nod the chin. Good. Maybe you don't need as much of a bend in the knee, but maybe you need a little bit of one. Good. And I'm just going to come down. Maybe you come to the floor, maybe not. Again, pressing from hip to heel into the floor. You can walk it back up, or as you press into the floor, you start to round back up as you lengthen those legs and come back up to standing. Let's do that one more time, and then we're going to come to the ground. So from here, good, I'm going to nod my chin. I'm scooping in that belly button. Good. I'm going to let the knees bend just a little bit here as I come down. Good. Again, maybe you touch the floor, maybe you don't with this one, but pressing from hip to heel, legs are strong going into the floor. As I start to round up, I'm pressing into those legs, I'm lengthening, and I'm coming all the way back up here. Great. Let's go down to the floor, nodding that chin. Good. Find your little roll down, a deep bend in the knees or a little bit of a bend in the knees. And then once you come down there, good, just come to all fours. Now, my knees are a little bit cranky today, so I've got a blanket in here to help them be more comfortable. So you can always bring that into your practice, no matter what level that you're working on. So as you come here, good, knees are going to be under the hips or slightly wider. Good. I'm spreading my fingers wide, rooting through the knuckles of the pinky, pointer, and the thumb. My belly button is in. And we're going to take this into some cat-cow movement here. So inhale. Good. Take it forward. Pelvis comes back. Exhale and round. So here's your cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Good. From here, when you're ready, we're going to take this into opposite arm, opposite leg. So I'm going to start by taking my left foot back, pressing big toe and pinky toe mound into that mat, letting that left hip, good, drop slightly. I'm pressing in and forward into the mat with my arms. I'm just going to let myself get a little stretch here. This feels really good into the arch and the back of my calf muscle here. Good. Now from here, when you're ready, we're going to come forward. You can have a little bit of a lift or a hip height lift. Don't exceed it. Good. The right arm's going to come forward. And we're just going to hold and breathe. So this is a balance challenge. Think about the protraction of the shoulder. So you want to protract, press out of that floor. Good. And let's take down that knee in the hand. We're going to take that to the other side. So right foot's going to come back, pressing into big toe and pinky toe mound, pressing through that heel, letting that left hip drop slightly. That evens up the hips a little bit here. Good. It's okay to have a little micro bend in the elbows right here. And then when you're ready, good, we're going to come up. Good. A little bit of a lift or a hip height lift. Left arm can come forward. Find your balance. And if your balance is really off, start small. You can always have both hands down and lifting a leg. That is a balance challenge. Or you can have both knees down and taking an arm forward. That's another way to kind of build up to where you need to go. Good. And then we'll take that down. Good. Let's go back to the other side. Left leg comes back, maybe a little lift. The right arm comes forward. Good. Let's add a little tap here. So fingers and toes are going to tap. Squeeze the glute in the back of the shoulder to lift. Don't go past the shoulder. Don't go past the hips. Good. And we'll tap, squeeze and lift. Tap, squeeze and lift. Tap, squeeze and lift. And take that down. Other side. Good. So right leg's going to come back. Left arm's going to come forward. Find your balance. And here we go. Tap, squeeze and lift. Tap, squeeze and lift. Belly button is in. Tap, squeeze and lift. Tap, squeeze and lift. Tap, Squeeze and lift. Taking that down. Let's come to a child pose here. So knees can be together as wide as the mat or somewhere in between. And you can take your arms long in front of you if that feels good. They can come back towards the ankles. I'm going to kind of just reach my arms a little bit forward here, just finding that nice little counter stretch. I'm going to breathe and expand into that rib cage. And then we're going to come into a modified push-up position. So some of you are going to follow me. I'm going to demo the most basic on all fours push-up. Some of you are going to walk your hands forward, so your knees are a little bit more behind you. Feet can be down or they can be lifted for a knee down style push-up. So choose what you need wherever you are. Good. I'm going to rotate shoulder, elbow, hands more inward. So they're more kind of like this, not directly like this, but a little bit of an angle. Okay. I'm going to count 6 push-ups here. You stop where you need to stop. We're going to have long spine. And we want to try not to collapse into the shoulders here. So remember that protraction. Belly button is in, elbows out, halfway down. Push 1. Halfway down is all you need. Push 2. Halfway down. Push 3. Halfway down. Push 4. Halfway down. Push 5. Halfway down. Push 6. Take it back. Child's pose. Now in class, a regular class, we tend to do those more at the very beginning in a Pilates push-up series or towards the end. But I wanted to do this more in the beginning before we got too tired and then the form gets floppy. And then from here, when you're ready, we're going to come onto our backs, also known as supine. So once you come onto your back in the way that's best for you to get there, I'm going to take a drink of this water here. My voice is trying to fade. All right. So we'll come down, rolling the shoulders back. Good. And just take your feet as wide as your mat. And if you're not, practicing on a mat for whatever reason, just take the feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. And just let the knees go from one side and the other. Now you want your belly button to be in here when you do this to support that low back, more specifically the SI joint. That's where the sacrum and the ilium, the back part of the pelvis, come together. That joint doesn't move much, but there's just enough movement there that if we're not careful, we can really jack that up. And trust me when I say it's not something, having been there. Good. Okay, from here, we're gonna start with a pinwheel. So I'm gonna turn over onto my right side to start. Good. So my right arm is long in front of me. My left arm is on top. Your knees are going to be bent and try to stack them if you can. Good. Now I want the tips of my fingers to be even with each other. So I don't want, the top hand to be back here. So I want the fingers to be even. Good. So this is a little bit more range of motion work. So from here, my top hand, my left hand, I'm going to drag. Good. And I'm going to try to open up and come to the side. I'm looking where I'm going. Got a wall in my way here, but that's okay. And then I'm going to take that back up and come around. And we'll go again. And we'll open and drag. Belly button is in. Feel the side body stretch. Feel the armpit stretch. The chest stretch. And come back. One more time. We're going to take this back. Good. Now, from here, you've got your arm out. We're going to look for it. We're going to take it here and close. And open. Belly button still stays in. And close. If you can't take it all the way back there, go where you can go. And open. And one more time. And close. And open. Let's close. Good. And the way that's best for you, come back onto your back. Good. Now from here, we're going to do this to the other side. So my back will be to you for a moment, and I do apologize about that. Good, but I'm just gonna roll over to the side. Good. Actually, you know what? I don't want to do that. Let's do this. I'm just gonna switch sides on my mat. So now my left arm is forward. Good. My right arm and hand is on top. My fingertips are even. My belly button is in. I'm going to drag and open, coming to the back of one and coming back. Good. And we'll take that for two. Good. And three. Good. This also gets into the neck a little bit. And four. Now, holding this one open. Good. Here we go. We're going to take it into the close and go one and open, two and open. Keep that belly button in, and three and open. And let's go four and open. Good. And then we'll close, come back onto the back. Good. Let's go into some pelvic tilting work. So for this one, you want your feet to be about hip width apart. You don't want the heels to be too close or too far away. And you want to try to find that neutral spine position. So what I mean by that is your tailbone is anchored, maybe the low rib cage is going to be anchored. There may or may not be a little space in the low part of the back, but you're looking for your frontal hip bones here and your pubic bone to be in the same plane. So they're nice and flat and even. So theoretically, you could balance a glass of water here. I don't recommend necessarily trying that, but you could if it was completely flat. So belly button is in. We're going to go to posterior and anterior tilting. Posterior tilting, you're taking the pubic bone towards the face. So you're tilting the pelvis back. Good. Belly button might go in a little bit deeper. Anterior tilting, you're tilting it forward. So when you do that, you might get a little bit more of a space or an arch in the low back. Okay. So posterior, anterior, posterior, anterior, posterior, anterior, posterior, anterior. Good. So come back, try to find that neutral spine again. I like to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle sometimes after I do that kind of work. Good. And we're going to go into a little bit of opposite arm, opposite leg marching. So I'm going to take my left arm up, right knee, and I'm going to take it all the way back and take that down. Other side. Good. And again, my belly button is in. Good. I like to exhale here and inhale on the lower. If there is a different breathing pattern that works for you, I recommend that you take it. At the end of the day, the only wrong way to breathe is not breathing at all. Good. And then one more time. Good. Now from here, we're going to take this into bridging. So rolling the shoulders back, pressing arms strongly into the mat. You want the upper body engagement in your bridge, pressing evenly into both feet. We're going to lift straight up. Good. So get that chest, get that upper body engagement, really press in, and then we're going to lower straight back down. We'll go again. Inhale, exhale, press in and lift, and lower. This time, if you want to try the articulation, the rolling up and rolling down bone by bone at a time, you can go there or do what we just did. So I'm rolling my shoulders back. I'm getting those arms and shoulders engaged. Good. I'm going to tilt that pelvis back. Think about that posterior tilt as you roll back, heeling up, bone by bone. Good. And then starting at the mid back, we're going to roll down, moving through that rib cage, through the lumbar, through the sacrum, and to the tailbone, taking it back to your neutral spine. Let's do that one more time. Rock the pelvis back, go into that posterior tilt, heeling up bone by bone, pressing those arms and shoulders in, find your engagement. Then on the lower, from the mid back, I'm going to lower through the rib cage, through the lumbar, through the sacrum, and coming back to the tailbone and my neutral spine. Bring those knees into the chest and rock, rock, rock side to side. We're going to take this into some chest lifts here. Good. So feet are going to be grounded. Arms are going to come up. Belly button is in. Inhale. Exhale. Nod the chin. Lift the chest. Reach long and strong. Look at those thighs. Lifting up and lowering back down. We'll do that again. Inhale. Exhale. Nod the chin. Lifting up. Reaching long and strong. Lifting back up and lowering back down. One more time. Inhale, exhale, nod the chin, lifting up, reaching long and strong, lifting up and lowering back down. Good. So we're going to take that into the hundreds. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale for 5, exhale for 5. We're going to do that 10 times. So if you're super beginner, I want you to keep your feet on the floor. Those of you that are a little bit more advanced or stronger, you can take your feet here in the tabletop position. Knees over hips, shins parallel to the floor. I'm going to demo with my feet on the floor, but whenever you're ready, arms are going to come up. My belly button is in nice and tight. Exhale, nod the chin, lift the chest, reaching long and strong. My gaze is to my mid-thigh. I'm relaxing the shoulders. I'm going to pump those arms long and strong. And I inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, halfway. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, look at those thighs. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, hold. Lift the chest higher, reach deeper through the arms, and take that down. Bring your knees into your chest, and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle side to side. Let's take this into a twist. So knees in tabletop position, arms out to the side. Let's let those knees come all the way over to the left, looking to the right. Breathe and expand. Head will come back to center, one leg at a time, and we'll come back to center. Good. Taking that to the other side, knees in tabletop position, taking the knees over to the left, right side. We're going to look to the left. Breathe and expand. Head back to center, one leg at a time, coming back to center. Good. Let's grab that band. We're going to use it from some stretching. Okay. So I'm going to take that band. I'm going to start on my right side. And I want that band to be flat around the foot. And I want equal part band off each side. Okay. Now I'm just going to scoot out just a little bit here so I don't hit the wall in a moment. Good. Now you're in a stretchy band. Remember, you can always just kind of grab and pull down. You can always kind of rotate here. You can take hands behind, which is what you're going to see me do. But where you need to be here. Let everything kind of settle down. You always want to get a little micro bend in this knee. So here's a locked knee. Here's a soft knee. You want a soft knee here. Good. And when you're ready, good. Just take your leg towards your face. Good. Now, eventually, when you do the stretch series, you want to work up to about 45 seconds. And we won't be there today, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but once you're here, it's a lot longer than you think it is. When you're ready, we'll release. Good. Both straps or band is going to come into the right hand. Good. Both hips will stay grounded as you take that leg out to the right. You're getting a nice stretch here. Belly button is in. If you've got a little bit more depth, you can tug towards that shoulder. Again, we still have a micro bend in that other knee. If your left hip is popping up, your leg is too far to the right. Lift it up a little bit. And then we'll come up. Good. I'm going to let this left leg come long. Both straps are going to come into my left hand. And I'm just going to arc over 45 degrees. And I'm just going to kind of move around here, kind of finding that sweet spot. Not everybody's sweet spot is directly across. Some people are closer that way. Some people are closer this way. So you have to just kind of find it. Breathe and expand. Now I've got a longer leg. You can also do this with the bent knee if that's what your body needs you to have. And then we'll come back in. I'm going to leave that strap and foot right where they are. I'm going to kind of take my strap and kind of do a couple wraps here. And this leg can come back into a bend. We're going to go into some circles here. So this will help with some stability and range of motion. It also is sneaky core work. So you want your hips to stay grounded here. Belly button is in. If you are properly engaged with that belly button, you're going to feel it in the core. So let's start with some smaller circles here. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's reverse. Go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then from here, let's do a midair switcheroo here. So we're just going to switch out the feet. Good. Make sure that band is nice and flat again. Good. And we're going to take that into our hamstring stretch to let everything kind of settle down. Micro bend that knee. And when you're ready, good. You take it to where you need to take it. Coming back. Now, I'm pretty open in my hamstring than most people. There are some that are more open than I am. Can come all the way back here. Remember, we don't want pain, numbness, tingling, or burning. And when you do these stretches, keep the upper body lowered. You'll get a deeper stretch than if you lift up. And we'll release both straps into that left hand. Good. I'm just going to come a little bit more center now. Good. And we'll let that leg come out to the side. Both hips are grounded. I'm going to do a gentle tug towards my shoulder. If that feels okay for you, you can do that too. And when you're ready, we'll come back up. Good. So I'm going to extend my right leg. I'm going to switch out my hands here. Get that little 45-ish degree arc over. Kind of finding the outside here. And then when you're ready, good, we're going to come back up. Good. Now, a band in each hand. Good. We're going into those circles again. So kind of operate here where you need to operate. Belly button is in. And I'm going to bend that other knee here for better support. And we go smaller circles. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's reverse. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And we're going to come back in. We'll remove that foot from the band. You can put that band to the side. So we're going to go back and work on core here. We're going to work on a single leg stretch. This is part of the series of 5 that we do in Pilates. So the main thing here that I want you to think about is keeping the hips grounded. So when we're moving from side to side here, we're not rocking side to side. So the hips stay grounded. So from here, knees are in tabletop position. I'm going to come up. I'm going to take my left hand to my left knee. Nope, that's wrong. Right hand to left knee, left hand towards the ankle. My other leg is going to come long here. Okay. So I'm lifting up, I'm pulling in, I'm stretching that other leg, and then I'm going to switch and 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 switch. Good. Bend in the knees, take it down. Number 2, single straight leg press, also part of the series of 5 series. And while I'm up here, I like to just point and flex those feet. Another way to get footwork in. Okay. We'll roll those ankles in one direction and then the other. Good. Now from here, again, I'm going to start on my left side. So I'm going to come up into my C curve. I'm grabbing anywhere along here that I can. And my right leg is going to be long and strong. And I'm holding that up with my core. I'm not letting it collapse here. Okay, so hover. And here we go. I'm going to pull, pull, switch. 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 Bend the knees and come down. Good. From here, when you're ready, we're going to go right into some sideline work. We're just going to roll over. I'm going to roll over onto my left side because that's the side that's going to put me facing you. Good. And I'm going to do this one super basic. So I'm going to come all the way down here. Good. And you want to get into the habit of being on the hip bone, not back here on the glute. Shoulders and hips are always in alignment. And then I'm going to bend this bottom knee. Good. I'm just going to come here. Now I'm still zipped up. This hand can be right here. This top leg is about hip height. Good. And then from here, good. I'm just going to lift 1 and resist as you come down. And 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good. From here, let's take that into a circle. Belly button is in. Try not to let the hips move. Let's keep these small. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Bend in that knee, bend in both knees, maybe pat this out. Before we go to the other side, let's come onto our belly. So this is called prone position. Prone position. We're going to come into a baby swan here just so that we get a little bit of extension in the backside. So your legs are going to be about hip width apart here. Good. I'm going to take my hands a little forward into the side of the shoulders. I'm going to let my elbows and forearms drop down. My belly button is in nice and tight towards the spine. I'm rolling my shoulders back. Big inhale, exhale. Good. I'm just going to come up a little bit and come back down. Good. Now, I'm doing this very, very basic. Some of you might be able to come up just a little bit higher here. And if that's you and you're not crunching the spine or collapsing through the shoulders, feel free to take it there. Belly button is in. Good. Just a little bit of a lift. And coming down. 2 more times. Rolling shoulders back. Little lift. Belly button is in. Feet stay on the floor. And let's go 1 more time. And taking that down. Good. Take the hands under the shoulders. Press back. Find a little child's pose here. And when you're ready, we're going to take that sideline on the other side now. So I'm going to come over here. Good. Set yourself up the same way you did it before. Shoulders and hips. Good. You're on the hip bone. Bottom knee is going to be bent. And when you're ready, belly button is in. Good. We're going to lift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good. Here we go. Little circles. 6. Belly button is in. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's reverse. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Bend in both knees. Good. And when you're ready, we're going to press up into a seat here. So as we come into the seat, we're going to go into just a little part of a saw series here. Okay. So not the full set. So I'm just going to turn this way so you can better see what I'm doing. Good. So I've got my heels about the width of my mat, or a little bit wider than body width apart. Good. I'm sitting up nice and tall. You can sit up on a folded blanket here if you need to. And I've got an anterior tilt of the pelvis, meaning tailbone's coming back, hip bones are coming forward. Soft knees. Good. I'm going to take my hands behind my head here. Good. And I'm going to keep both hips grounded as I just do a little gentle side bend. And center. And side bend. And center. And side bend. And center. And side bend. And center. I'm going to rotate. And center. And rotate. And center. And rotate. And center. And rotate. And center. Good. From here, let's just do one little saw on each side. Excuse me. Scoot out just a little bit here. Arms to the side. Good. We're going to rotate. I'm rotating to my right. My back hand is going to come down. I'm going to reach this arm over as I round. Both hips stay grounded. You're trying to saw the pinky toe off with the pinky finger. And then I'm going to come back up to center. And rotate. Hand comes down. Reach and round. The nice little stretch for the back. And coming back up. That actually felt better than I thought it would. Let's do that again. Rotating to the right. Reach and round. Get that nice back stretch in there. Maybe a hamstring stretch in there. Coming back up. And rotate. And reach and round. And coming back up. Good. Let's take the legs nice and wide here. Let's get a nice inner thigh. Adductor stretch. Good. We're going to keep a flat back on this one. Hips, knees, and toes are going to track. Arms are going to come up. Good. And I'm just going to come forward. When I can come no more with a long spine, my hands are going to come down. And I'm just going to breathe and rest right there. And breathe. Good. And breathe. Good. So again, this is one you want to try to build up to about 45 seconds. And then from here, we're going to come back up. Good. And we're going to finish with a seated mermaid stretch. Now, even beginners, some of you are really open, but you're just curious. So I'm going to give you 2 different ways to do this. There's the Pilates Z, the Z. So if you're doing the Z, this is my right leg here. So I've got the shin kind of going parallel to my mat. And then my left shin is kind of parallel to the front. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Other people need to kind of do a little tuck here. And if none of this feels good to you, then just do a crisscross applesauce. Not that big of a deal. But I'm going to come to the Z. Good. Inhale, arms out. Exhale, hands going to come down. Good. We're going to get that nice stretch over, reaching. Arm comes up, envision somebody pulling on it as you come up. Let's counter stretch over the other side. Good. And we'll go again. Good. Taking that down. Good. Now, how deep you come down depends on you. I'm going to reach over You could rotate here if that feels okay, because you're rotating from along spine. Opening up, arm comes up, reach up, and taking that over this way. Good. And then from here, we're going to switch sides. So you can take your feet to the other side or just find that Z. So in this side, this is my left leg. This is my right leg. So sit how you need to sit. Arms out. Inhale, exhale, taking that over and reach. And that nice side bend, that nice length. Coming back to center, we'll counter stretch over. And moving through center, taking it back over. Good. So find your length. You're going to rotate here. Good. You can rotate. Opening up, moving through center, and taking that over, counter stretching. Good. And coming back. Couple real quick shoulder stretches here for those of us that need them. I'm going to come back to crisscross applesauce, taking the hands forward, pressing away, around. Envision you're separating the shoulder blades here. Upper body work hard. Did a lot of that strength building and opening in the beginning. Good. And then from here, good. You can take this to the back. So I kind of here, I'm taking palms behind. I'm resting here. That might be it for some of you. You can come here. You can press down. You can open up. You can lift. Go to your body's range of motion. This is where my shoulders want me to be today. So this is where I'm going to be here. And then when you're ready, good. Thank you so much for practicing with me today in pre-Pilates with the band and beginners Pilates mat work. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. And I hope that you will take these principles and what you learned in here, not just into other Pilates classes, but into your daily life as well. Upper body strength is so important. Have a good day.